build kick-ass case study videos. We're still another couple minutes away, so I thought I'll just start on. We had quite a few registrations for this event, so let's just give them a couple of minutes and see how many turn up, and we'll kick off shortly. Oh, didn't realize I was on mute there. So it's dot 2 o'clock. I wanted to present our first of the two-part series on how to build kick-ass case study videos. Seems like it's a very popular topic. We've got probably more than 70 plus registrations as of an hour ago. I haven't checked LinkedIn shortly, but how about we start slowly getting right into it. And when people join in, and if you have any questions, I'm more than happy to answer them as they go. So you don't have to wait until the end of the session. I want to keep it short and simple. I want to keep it under 15 minutes, possibly. Have some Q and A's at the end, and happy for you to hit me up later on if you have any more questions. Um, so I'm going to be your host. On how to build kick-ass case study videos. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Sandeep Joshi. I'm from Measurable Impact, and I'm the chief strategist, which means I get to talk a lot, which is what I like doing. And one of the key things is my background is in filming and photography as well. So this topic is quite close to my heart. So I thought I'll come up with some ideas and talk about all the learnings that we've had over the years. So that's what I would like to do today, and see how we go from here. Um, so when it comes to content and especially videos, as you guys know, most of the content that we see today is all around immersive videos. Um, and there are a lot of I'm getting messages that it's not live yet. I'm trying to see if we are live. Um, there seems to be some technical issues to make sure if anyone is seeing me on LinkedIn, if there is a issue with LinkedIn, can you please let me know or ping me? Sorry about that technicality. I was told that there was some issues with the live streaming on LinkedIn. We're just trying to fix those. Oh, I'm getting some chats. Uh, oh, great. Okay, fantastic. So it is good. So I'm just going to continue on. So thanks, Vanelli and Lisa. Um, So where was I? So look, ideally, most of the content that you guys see come through is it's pretty much 100% videos, right? So there are quite a few handy tools. I've got a few handy tools to show you. What we do generally is if you want to TikTokify some fun stuff going on in our office, I go around with this little beauty. I don't know what if you guys have seen this, but this is called a gimbal. And if you it can just follow everywhere. And if you got some cool ideas, and then I use something like a Rode mics. These are the wireless go-tos, and they literally you're a walking, talking production house if you wanted. Uh, a lot of times we do that with our clients as well. And you can clearly get some really quick snippets of videos. You can film them quickly. Nowadays, you can use Instagram or any other TikTok tools to try to come up with nice, innovative ideas or try to make it look a little bit more cool. But that's not what we're talking today. Today, we are talking about case study videos specifically because it's a bit of a high ticket item, right? Because case studies come with a lot of key stakeholders. They are, some big wigs are generally involved, and you want to make sure that it's presentable in a lot of different channels. So, okay, thanks, Melita, Nancy, to let me know that it's all working fine. So I'm getting a lot of messages from our chat window, which is great. Thank you, guys. Um, so one of the key things that I really wanted to cover was post production. So this is a two-part series, right? So the first part I want to cover off on post production, sorry, pre production. My apologies. Pre production is probably the most important part of any filming. It gives you opportunities to visualize your content even before you start filming it. And there are certain things that you need to have in place if you want to visualize the content before it goes out. Now, which is exactly what I'm going to talk about. The second part, I'm going to be joined by my co-host John O'Gee, who is our videographer, or the man behind this lens, and he pretty much does every filming with me, and we love filming together, and it's just cool to have him. He's going to talk more about production and post production, uh, but pre-production is all this video is going to be dedicated to. So if you have probably, and this is a lot of times people start getting bogged down, then saying, geez, case study videos are going to be super complex, they're going to be so hard to do with this and that. What we're going to discuss today is not just for videographers out there or post production crew or editors. It's actually for marketers, because marketers or head of business or director of sales or whoever is trying to have that engagement with your clients, we are the ones. If we are able to draw these baselines, the life of the actual filmmaker becomes so much easier, and the post production process is a lot quicker as well. So there are three key categories that I'm going to be talking about. um, so today I'm going to talk about how to select your talent pool. uh, Second, we are going to jump into storyboarding, which I feel is ridiculously important, because once you storyboard things, literally like you're building an animation movie, you literally go scene by scene and see who's going to say what and what are we going to do. And the third category I'm going to talk about is location scouting. Um, so if these three key things are taken care of, I feel most of our post production process just becomes a cakewalk, or that's how I would like to say it, because that's not what I do. I leave it all for Jonah to do it. So before I begin, any questions so far? Anyone coming through? Because I still see some chats coming through. Um, I'm gonna keep plowing through this. So the first slide I wanted to show up is, I'll move the slide. Let me know if this. Actually, before we begin, I wanted to make sure that we all understand I'm making some assumptions here, right? Although I'm talking about filmmaking, but I assume that you already know who your target audience is, right? Generally, we go to a production meeting when we already know that the audience has been sorted for. They know what the story is that the clients would like to hear. The Who is their ideal customer profile? What is the total addressable market? All those things have been ticked off. You also know what are the challenges that clients would like to be hearing or they're facing already. And of course, you got to have the answer to it. That's why we're filming it, right? So that's the whole idea about the process. Um, so I'm not going to discuss that today about how to build those basic, because that's a complete end-to-end marketing job, and I'm happy to talk about it in a totally separate session. Or just hit me up if you have any questions on how to build the very baseline messages for that, and we'll cover some of that off in our storyboarding session. But yeah, the baselines have to be created. So We'll take a step back and I'm going to slow down. I think I'm getting too excited. The first part is, how do you visualize a final product? Now, the three key categories I said, and there are plenty others, by the way, and there is no particular order in these three categories. I'm just putting numbers because I feel that's how I would like to see them. Uh, the visualization in your head is about the end product. What style is it going to follow? What tempo is it going to follow? What is going to be the character of the video? Is it going to be slow? Is it going to be energetic? Is it going to be aggressive? Is it going to be fun? Is it going to be bubbly? What is it? How are you trying to create the tone of voice of the entire video? That all depends on the first category, which I'm just going to talk about. So I'll get my lovely friend here, Prince, to keep moving the slides so I can talk to the next one. So I'll go one step back. So identifying your talent pool. Now, when you look at talent pools, you will probably get five, six, seven, eight different stakeholders within your business or your client's business who all come back on screen again, which is where we're here. Um, a lot of times I've felt that we have created a really bubbly character, and then all of a sudden we have seen, I'm getting more chats, lost audio. Right, hang on. Am I back on? Can you guys hear me now? Okay. My sincere apologies. I don't know what happened there. So I think the reason why the audio was lost because I was trying to get myself off screen. So let me rephrase this a little bit, and without going too much into detail, what I was trying to explain here is mapping your talent pool is extremely important. Um, Different personalities and expertise and experience will also completely cross correlate based on the length, the energy, the tempo, how you want your character of the video to be. So when you select your talent pool, it is extremely important for you to follow that sequence, which is what we're going to talk next into the video. How long is the video going to be? Are you going to find opportunities to have different snippets of information that could be streamed for various different channels? Because each channel will have its own formatting, and you need to know how that's going to all play out. So mapping your talents and the flow of the video has to be thought through. That's the first stage of visualization. Which brings me to the second point. The second point of second stage rather is storyboarding. Now let's say, keeping the same example in mind, we had um, we have we'll go to the next slide. Great. I'll put the slide on high. If you can see this. Great. So let's say you finalize three talents. When I say talent, by the way, is who are the people going to be behind the camera, by the way. So who are we filming? What are the key personalities? So talent one, let's say it's a client, and it's a business level client. Let's say it's a CIO or a CTO. I can hear you now again. Great. Okay, so my apologies. I think I tried to push the wrong button there, and I took myself off. So that's why the camera must have gone back. But I'm assuming you guys can hear me now. So this is good. So um, generally what happens is the business level executives talks wants to talk about the business value that they got from the business or from the uh, whatever your project has been with a particular client. Now this is a very B2B centric conversation I'm having. Obviously B2C might be very different, but today it's only B2B, possibly mostly tech. So the way we try to do it is we want to create a precursor. We want to create sort of plant seeds in their heads on what their answers could possibly be. Talent two could be a service provider, which could be one of you guys who are actually trying to help a client come on board to do this video with you. So maybe that's a CEO from your organization, or director of sales, or whoever, the CMO. Now they want to talk about what they saw, what was the challenge when they came into the picture, and how did they solve it. As opposed to the last person, again, could be a client side executive, um, but this person could be a lot more technical, and he or she could be talking more about the results that they got from a technical perspective, or what were the key, I don't know, onboarding challenges if there were, or integration, or shortfall of resources gaps that they had that you guys were able to solve. Whatever your project was, you are able to create a storytelling in such a way that the first sequence is handing it over to the second and the third in a way that creates a proper flow of a story. Now again, this is not rocket science. A lot of times we are able to see this through, but when it comes to the actual execution, it becomes very hard. So I've actually got a template created for all this pre-production work, because we probably spend more time in pre-production than in production and post-production put together. So in pre-production, what we do is we do something, and this is a template, or this is a very sample that I'm just putting on our screen at the moment. So what this does is, let's say for a C-level business client, talent one, we would actually come up with a list of questions that we want to ask them and expect their answers. And we actually ask them to give their responses in the most natural language possible. Uh, we also ask them to give their responses in shorter, finished sentences. And we want them to keep rehearsing on them, to keep them brief, keep them short, and use a lot of proof points. So, the most important thing that people need to hear is, how are you able to prove whatever the results you're trying to prove? There's nothing more powerful than actually using numbers, the stats, what happened, how did it happen. That's the best way to start getting initial reaction. I was doing a study the other day, and someone told me that the average the average attention span has gone to, I think, 4 seconds. So if you're not able to build someone's attention within 4 seconds, I mean, where are we heading? I have no idea. But thankfully, with B2B, we have to give ourselves a little bit more leeway, because B2B is a little bit different in the way it's been designed. But if we start going through based on how we do things on Instagram or on TikTok, we will have to do our videos in a very different way. So this is why I'm trying to say, have a have a final product in mind, because you can start creating small snippets. One big video could be six small videos that could start creating engagement. The average age groups on other social platforms are also, we used to always think TikTok is a 18 plus or that sort of generation, but look, you know what, 25 to 55 is an average age on TikTok. Or even when you look at Instagram, it's pretty, the same people who are on LinkedIn are also going to be on there. So grabbing attention has to be done in a exactly same way as you would do uh, on LinkedIn. I don't know why we have to create 5-minute case study videos. We need to do max 45 seconds each snippets. So I'll show you exactly how we do it in the next slide. Actually, I'll spend one more slide in that. Where is it? There. So the way we do this is, once we have the final questions that we get or the answers that we get back from our clients, now what we do is we start scripting them. Now, I I'm a big believer that you don't need to script everything to the T and feed it to the teleprompter, because a lot of times when we do through the lens teleprompter style videos, you can actually see the clients actually reading the script, and it just looks very artificial. It's not them because the flow is not there, and they don't sound natural. So the way we try to do it is we say, fine, I'm going to ask you these 4 questions, talent one. What I want you to do is I want you to respond back to me in one small sentence at a time, and for each of those, and just cut it off and then start again. Now, what that does is it gives me literally 5, 6 small videos from each talent talking about some proof points that they want to really go and showcase out. This becomes super powerful, because when you want to then edit and post produce, your one video case study can be then launched into 10 different syndication tactics, like whether it's going on, whether whatever social tactics that you want to do, or campaigns or tactics, whether it's through email campaigns, or call to action landing pages, or media buy, or social channels. You know that each of those snippets from one talent could actually result into 5, 6 different content pieces. So case study videos divided into 15 smaller snippets, 15-second, 20-second snippets, is ridiculously powerful, and that's how you got to do it. So the way you do that is by just applying this simple scope. Oh, we've gone into location scouting. I'll go one step back. So make sure you divide your flow into 3 to 4 topics. Second, you keep your sentences short and simple and complete, so the client doesn't ramble on when it's front of the client. So if it's an interview style shoot, then you will see that it just flows a lot naturally for the client, and they're speaking their, in their own easier, I don't know what's the best way, but they stay in their character of whatever they are in, and it becomes a lot more easier for them to answer the questions, and it's a lot more appealing, because you want a natural simplified language. You don't want someone being robotic about it. And please talk numbers and proof points and stats and throw them right in front of the screen, like we will probably soon be doing as we go. So I'm going to hit this one back. All right. Okay. So the next slide, and so the first 2 points, like I mentioned, one is talent pool selection, and the second part is actually going through um, to the phase of storytelling, or through storyboarding. And again, storyboarding is itself a lengthy process. I've tried to compress as much as I could speak within this 5 minutes. Please accept my apologies if I rush through this, but hit me up if you have any questions, and I'm happy to answer any questions. um, Last but not the least is location scouting. Now, again, location scouting is is probably the most, I feel location scouting is the most neglected, if not neglected, but it's the least looked after, poor thing, because we always think location scouting is all about, hey, you know what, I know I've got that office door there, or that small little room, and I'm just going to film it. No, but there are a lot of things that could go right or wrong. It doesn't also mean that you need to book in a massive studio. And I mean, if it's a high budget case study that you want to film, that's fine. uh, but I've seen more than likely that actually filming in a proper office work environment would actually give you a lot more oomph to your videos, because you get access to a lot of resources there. You get access to people working, people talking. There are a lot of B rolls that you can keep on creating. You get, let's say you're talking about, for example, a data center. Now, I'm not sure if you'll get access to their data center, but I'm pretty sure you'll get some look and feel about the server rooms. You can film around that. People are talking about literal technicalities. Or if it's a, I don't know, software company, then you're actually going through people's computers trying to look without, going through any privacy details, but trying to go and see how they're doing things. You're getting some B rolls happening. It just becomes very compelling. It becomes very engaging. And that's how you would like to do this. So in every time I get asked questions, oh, we've skipped the gun here. Hang on, I'll go back. Like the biggest question is to be or not to be in a studio. So I always answer them this: look, if you want to do it in a studio, that's good. We got lighting, it's we got control of light, sound, equipment, and it looks nice. It looks cool. But there is no reason why we cannot create the same feel in any office environment. But there are do's and don'ts that I'll talk about in the next slide. So, just to give you an example of, we just filmed this recent case study with, I think there was a little national hotel. There's not across, literally next to our building here. This was a Alcatel Lucent case study. We were initially talking about, you know what, let's do this in a proper studio environment. But then we went for a location scouting experience. We went through each and every room. The solution was about, obviously, the people who are actually staying at the place and their experience and the customer experience and how they can do things. So we actually started going through the devices, through the rooms, started creating B-rolls, and we saw this beautiful small little room, which expanded into a massive fireplace at the back, where we held our main key talent to actually speak about their journey with Alcatel-Lucent and ALE, and then we had a really nice breakthrough where we had all the stakeholders come in from the partner organization, vendor organization, also from the actual client organization. They gave us access to their rooms. We started filming them. It's all available on my YouTube channel. I'm happy to send you the link if you want. Again, the idea is a lot of things you don't have to go just for a cool studio because you think that'll give you the best result. You can actually get good results from the same environment. We just need to make sure that the videographer has enough capacity to go out there and do a quick scouting exercise to what place, where are they going to do it? Is this room too small to shoot or film? Um, are there going to be any reflections on the wall? Is there going to be too much noise? Is there going to be too much sound? Is there going to be too much distraction? Is the background too bright, too dull? What is it? You need to go and have a quick um, you need to have a quick scouting exercise with your team. And one of the key things that we follow are simple, which is going to be in the next slide, and I'll just bring it up. I think I already talked about them, but oh, hang on, I went too far. Um, One of the things that we generally talk about is hot tips is when you do location scouting, make sure that the rooms are obviously not too small, not too busy. If there are people talking about, then it's going to get noisy. It's always going to hurt your mic. Even as slight as the sound is going to be a distraction. Uh, a lot of times, the background, people are get so, as much as they don't want to be in a studio, but they want opera house facing window and all that, which is okay. But ultimately, you have to understand that you don't want a busy bridge behind you or a massive highway, although however cool it looks. You want people to look and hear what you have to say about a particular problem. We start getting, too honed into the technicalities of how cool it should look. It should all obviously be about the matter. What is the content that you're trying to build? And is it adding value to someone's life? And how are you gonna easily gonna help them do that? Um, you also need to make sure, like I just mentioned earlier, you need to have access to locations, access to certain things to build your B rolls, to build your small little, if you want to talk about servers, then you need to have access to the server room if possible. I wouldn't recommend doing that without super duper permissions from a, I don't know, super admin somewhere. um, Same thing with meeting people, greeting people, people coming in, shaking hands, saying hello. All these little things, B rolls with the actual client and you and any other person that's involved in the shoot, will add engagement. It's very easier said than done, and I understand that. But that's why, if you as a marketer have this list ready for yourself, then, in my opinion, um, the life of a videographer becomes, a lot easier, because 80% of the problems have been solved. You have actually given them exactly what they need. Even if you end up saying, look, you know what, I don't want to have an interview style video. I want it to be a very, I want it to be a very through the lens scene teleprompter video. You are able to reduce the script in such a way that that you can start breaking it down into small content pieces and small reels that can go out on various programs. So I feel these three things, and there are plenty other, but these three things should be on top of your mind in pre-production before you even start filming. How do you visualize your end product before you start filming? That's what this pre-program is all about. I don't know if I helped you in any way. I hope I added value. If you are having projects and if you need any thoughts through, I'm happy to hit me up. I'm happy to answer any questions. But the whole point of this exercise is to keep things simple. Try to give as much as meat on the bone for your videographers to go and get some excitement happening. And with that, I'll stop here. I'll pause here. I'll take any questions or answers if you have any, or you can hit me up. I'm going to be online for another 5 minutes to see if I can answer any of the questions. But if not, I would love to say happy marketing. We're getting some thank yous. I don't mind thank yous. That's pretty cool. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Vinelli. Um, I hope you guys got some value out of this. Ah, and by the way, this is getting streamed on like 5 channels, like Twitter. I've only been looking at LinkedIn, so I think I think it's a good opportunity for me to see what's happening on the other channels. Uh, Thank you, Lakshmi. Appreciate it. Prince, do we have access to any other channels? I hope I'm not missing any Q&As or questions from them. Thank you, Van. Appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed it. Brilliant. See, videos have to be fun. So let's not get too riled up as well. Like, this is not too complex, but ultimately just keep it simple and have fun with it, and you'll get some kick-ass case study videos.